Hello, good morning students. So we have started chapter elements, compounds and mixtures, and we have finished those three topics. Just revise some of the characteristics of mixture right now so that we can revise the previous classes, right? So what are the characteristics of mixture? First of all, we know that it is an impure substances. Impure substance means what? Which that have, see, first of all, you see what are pure substances. Pure substances are those which has only one kind of particle. So if any substances having more than one type of particles, then those substances are impure substances. So we know that mixture are those which is having more than one type of particles, which is an impure substances. Now we know that it has no formula. Which substances having formula? Which are mixed in a fixed ratio, like water. We have read in the previous class that 2:1 in a fixed ratio they are adding hydrogen and oxygen. That is why those are compounds. But here in mixture, no formula is there. Why? Because they can be mixed in any ratio. Suppose if you are making lemonade, how you are going to make it? You're taking water, then you are adding into it what? Then you are adding lemon and sugar into it. Suppose that lemonade only your friend is making in home, he can take any amount of, means in any proportion, she or he can add water, lemon and sugar. So that is why we can say that these are mixture. The properties of the mixture are the properties, show the properties of its constituents. Means if you are having a mixture of iron powder and sulfur, then that mixture show the properties of iron powder also and sulfur also. That means the mixture retain the properties of its constituents. Then constituents can be easily separated by physical methods, and today we are going to read this topic only, that how you are going to separate the constituents of a mixture. What are the purpose of separating the constituents of mixture? Then we read that it is either homogeneous or heterogeneous, and all the homogeneous mixtures, homo means same. We have read this one, that homo means same. That means homogeneous mixtures having same composition throughout the solution or throughout the substance. So that is why we call it homogeneous. And heterogeneous means what? Hetero means different. So the substance is having not uniform composition. Those mixtures are called heterogeneous. So it is either homogeneous or heterogeneous. And we know that homogeneous mixtures are called solution. So now let's read that why and what is the purpose of separating the constituents of a mixture. So the first point that is given in your book is that in our home, small pieces of stones and undesirable materials which are present in the grains, that is being removed from rice and dal before cooking, so that we will eat healthy. So that is why we need to remove these undesirable constituents which are present in grains like rice and dal. And the second point is to obtain a pure sample of a substance. Suppose if I am having iron powder and sulfur mixture of iron powder and sulfur I am having. Then if I want to study the property of iron powder, I have to separate the mixture, means I have to get a pure sample of iron powder. Then only I'll be able to read the whole properties of iron powder, and we are going to test it in lab. So to obtain a pure sample of a substance, This is the second purpose. Means impurities present in any substances are removed to obtain a pure sample of the substance. So pure substance are needed in, see, where it is used, where they are using it, in medicine, in research industry, and also in our daily life, and also in our daily use. So we are using it. And the third one is to obtain useful constituents. Means a mixture may contain one or more useful constituents. These should be separated for their proper use. Now see, most of the natural substances are not chemically pure. They are either mixed with impurities of other substances or are mixtures of some substances. In order to study the properties of individual substances, we need each component of the mixture in the pure state. So that is why different methods have been used to separate the individual components of a mixture, and we are going to read it one by one. So how you are going to separate a mixture? See, separation depends on the nature of its constituents. Constituent means what? The substances which are present in the mixture. Like in sugar solution, sugar and water are the constituents. So these constituents, means the constituents of a mixture, can be separated by laboratory methods. So the choice of method is made on the basis of difference in the properties of the constituents. It's written over in your book. So that means nature of the constituent is important. Means if you have to separate mixture, you have to know the properties, or you have to know the nature of the constituents which are present in the mixture. Then only you are going to separate it. So to choose a suitable method for separation, first you have to find out the property of the constituents that are present in the mixture. So the first separation we are going to read, that is separating a solid from other solid. We are going to read first one, that is winnowing. You can see in the figure, what you can see, that a lady is on the table, and what she is doing, she is dropping the mixture of grain that contains husk and hay. So winnowing is what? It is a separating technique. It is a process where we can separate grain from husk and hay with the help of wind. If wind is not there, you are not going to separate it, right? Because if wind is there, then only the husk and hay will blow out and is carried by the wind and form a heap. At a small distance away you can see there. And the wheat grains, which is heavier, fall almost vertically, you can see vertically, to form a separate heap nearby. So like that, winnowing continue. Okay, so like this, village lady, you can see that they will separate wheat from husk and hay by winnowing. So if question comes that what is winnowing, so you will write that it is a separation technique where grain from husk and hay with the help of wind separate. So mostly farmers use this method for separating wheat grains from husk and hay. Okay. This is the hand picking technique, separation technique. So this is the simplest method which we all are doing in our home. The unwanted material which is present in smaller quantity, like if I'm having dal, if in dal the unwanted material is present, then we are going to pick those unwanted materials from dal and we will separate, and we will clean pulses, wheat, rice, which will contain these small pieces of stones, and sometimes anything like insects also, if it is having, then we are going to remove by hand picking. So we all are doing this technique in our home every day. So this is the technique of hand picking. Next separation technique is sieving. So this method is used for separating solid constituents of a mixture which differ in their sizes. Means a mixture having two solid constituents or having solid constituents which are differ in their sizes. So in this method, a sieve which is having holes of proper size is used. Like the bigger particles are retained by the sieve, means they are going to stay in that sieve, whereas the smaller one pass through it and it will deposit it in the bottom of the sieve. This method is used for the following purposes, like for separating fine sand from gravel, for separating chaff from wheat flour, for separating cashew nuts of different sizes, and for separating pearls of different sizes. For this we use this sieving separation technique. First of all, let's see what is sublimation. The next separation technique we are going to learn is sublimation. So first of all, let's see what is sublimation. So sublimation, it is a method, it is a process when solid turns directly into gas or gas turns directly into solid. This process is sublimation. Now in this method, this is used for separating substances which on heating change directly into vapor. So the vapor on cooling gives the pure substances in solid form. So the substances like camphor, ammonium chloride, naphthalene and iodine on heating, these are the solid substances. On heating, it changes directly into vapor. So these undergo sublimation. So in this method, if you're having a mixture of ammonium chloride and common salt, you're going to separate these mixtures, these type of mixtures, by using this method. So you can see here what type of setup we need. That we need a tripod stand, burner, then we have to separate a mixture of sodium chloride and ammonium chloride, right? So you're going to have that mixture in test tube, in a china dish. Then you have to take a funnel, you have to inverted funnel, you have to fix it in the china dish, and then you have to put a cotton plug in the top of the inverted funnel so that no gas escape from it. Then what you have to do, you have to supply heat from the burner. Then what happen, if the mixture takes the heat, what happen, the ammonium chloride sublimes, because these substances have a property. See, I told you that you have to know the nature of the constituents present in the mixture. So we have to know that ammonium chloride sublimes, means it directly changes into vapor. The solid ammonium chloride directly changes into vapor. So if it changes into vapor, this will be in the wall of the inverted funnel. And what will left behind? The common salt left behind in the china dish. Like that you can get the ammonium chloride and you can get the mixture, you can get the common salt. So these are the separation technique of solid from other solid. In next class, we are going to learn more about this separation. Till then, study well. Thank you.